Notts County Talk, we are live with episode 101 of the Pavis Perspective. Episode 100 last week, we did our mug giveaways, 5 mugs that are in the process of being sent out to the winners. As always, we are powered by Better Bytes Computers. You will have seen at the start of the video a little promo code of Pavis Perspective. Go in and use that promo code and you'll be able to get discounts off computers or off laptop repairs. That's what repairs. If you're listening back on Spotify, please do give us that 5-star review. It does help us out massively. George, how you doing, mate?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Definitely had better weeks in terms of recovering after a result. But yeah, not too bad, mate. How are you?
Still recovering. I'm still recovering, like you say. We're obviously going to talk about the Mansfield game. It was a massive game. The build-up was huge. You saw from both teams their promotions on social media. It was huge. We're also going to get James in from the ME7 podcast. Gillingham fan. We have found a Gillingham fan. Nice and easy, that one, actually, to be fair, George, compared to who have we not had? Accrington and Barrow. Nice and simple. Get a Gillingham fan.
Nice and simple.
Nice and simple. Right, we've got Callum with us. We've got Royston. We've got Ian, Chris, Stephen, Ken, Ian again, Roy, Dale, Callum, all the regulars in with us this evening. Get your thoughts in. If you have any thoughts for James, keep them until we get him into the video. So we've got a message here. I'm a new Notts fan. I've just moved into the area. Talking about giving fans the entire away stand. Has it always been like that? Did it give them a boost? Yeah, we usually give teams that are going to sell it. You won't see that against Wrexham. Wrexham, I think, will sell like 150. If that, and then the rest of the fans that you'll see on videos are like AI that Disney put in and things like that. Like they don't actually have that many fans. So don't be surprised when that happens. But there we go. So George, let's just get straight into it. Notts 1, Mansfield 4, 1-0 up after 3 minutes. Absolute disaster, mate.
Yeah, welcome back to the Nottinghamshire derby.
Yeah.
It's one of them for me. Like we have always, as long as I can remember, and I think I said it last week, struggled against Mansfield. We always have. I think one of the few times we beat them was the season we got relegated, which is a weird one. But look, we were going into that game confident for sure. We knew it was going to be a good game in terms of the level of football being relatively high. But look, we were outplayed. We really were. We were embarrassed, to be honest. We really were. I mean, to concede 2 relatively close together from corners is just so frustrating, because to concede from one set piece is disappointing enough, isn't it? Because, you know, Notts have had that frailty, haven't they, for quite a few years, you know, prior to sort of last season, where they looked like conceding, didn't they? Or they sort of had that habit of conceding from set pieces. And look, we've sort of stomped it out, and then we do it twice in one game. And it wasn't like it was fantastic either. It's like the second phase of a set piece. It's so disappointing. So disappointing. We just seem to be second to everything. From crosses, from corners and stuff like that. It was one of those afternoons for me.
Do you know what? I don't like saying nice things about Mansfield. But I thought they were really, really good. Like, to go 1-0 down in the return of the derby away from home, you know, 1-0 down for 3 minutes, like shell shot. They were literally they didn't phase them at all. They were the better team then up until 1 minute before half time when we had it cleared off the line. And then as soon as sort of second half started and Bostock went off, the tide really did turn, didn't it? I don't know. Social media wasn't a great place to be after the game. There's lots of opinions flying around. And we're like pretty fair and balanced on the channel. Like we will say exactly how it is.
Yeah.
I think for myself, the way I put it after post-match, like 10 minutes after full time, and the way I spoke, usually I come on here and I say like, oh no, actually I disagree. I was like in the heat of the moment. I still completely agree. Yeah. Like I think defensively, we're not good enough. There's absolutely no way. And the poll question today is, without signings, can we sort this out defensively? I think if we were 5 or 6 games into the season and we were conceding this many goals, you can sort it out. 13 games into a season, my opinion, I don't know what you think, George, I don't think you can sort it out now. 13 games, you're not going to magically turn on clean sheets and conceding like one in every like couple of games. I think it's how we are. 13 games is a long time. We're like going into November soon, and we're shipping goals. Like I've just looked, 88 goals we concede this season if we carry on like this. 88 goals. That's nearly triple what we conceded the whole of last season. I'm concerned. I am concerned about it defensively. Like Mansfield had problems scoring in recent weeks, and they went and got 4 fairly easily. Could have been 5, could have been 6. And actually, I don't think if we'd have scored, I don't think you can complain with us scoring 1 goal. I don't think we really had any chances.
Yeah.
What do you think about can we turn it around? Because 13 games in and 25 conceded. Poor.
Yeah, no, it's very, very bad. And if you go back to sort of, we talked about this, I think, in our predictions, didn't we? How many goals were not conceded? I think I said 30, didn't I?
Yeah, but you were drunk. You had to be 30 goals.
Well, I was obviously just confident after last season, and obviously looking at seasons prior to that, there's not normally this many goals as there in League Two. But anyway, yeah, I think what we've got to be careful of is not losing confidence and letting it affect our game, because we've not really had the tests that we've had this season, last season. So Williams has done a fantastic job of sort of implementing a really good mindset in the squad. But I think it's obviously a lot easier when you're winning, isn't it, to implement that mindset of, be first to every ball. When confidence is flying, the team are flying, aren't they? So I think what we've got to be careful of is players losing confidence at the back, because then I think it could creep throughout the squad. I think you could, if we start losing confidence at the back, it's going to creep forward the midfield. The attackers are going to start losing a bit of confidence. It's going to take some character, I think, to turn it around a little bit, because we have conceded far too many goals this season. So I think the next couple of weeks, in particular for me, it's going to show what character Notts really do have to sort of bounce back. Because I think this season, to be fair, when we've had to, we have bounced back from bad results. But you don't want to be having too many of those bad results to bounce back from, because it's not, for me, a good leap board to say, oh, look, we lost this game. We normally win a game after we lose a game. And it's a slippery slope, that one. So
yeah,
I think it's just confidence, but it's almost, for me, I think once players' confidence have gone, it's very, very difficult to regain it. And look, I'm not saying that they have. I'm just saying that I think it could definitely creep in because we've conceded that many goals. Yeah,
we've got James waiting to come on to the show, and it'll be interesting to see what James thinks of this in like sort of 5 minutes time. But I see a lot of people saying from the outside, like, you've just been promoted from the National League via the playoffs in a penalty shootout. Like, what more do you want? I really understand that. Like, we have no right to be top of the league last weekend. I know we're second now, but like, we are. And some Notts fans are saying like, oh, well, I'll be happy with mid-table, but we're not there. We're actually second in the league.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's a fair reflection of where we should be. Personally, I don't think we've had the hardest fixture list so far, and we've come up against a good team in Mansfield. Yeah, we pinpointed these 3 games, didn't we? I know there's Newport wedged in there, but Mansfield, Gillingham, Wrexham, we'll know where we are at the end of the month.
But then you look at Swindon.
Yeah, you do. But
then I look back to that game, and I think on a different night we could have lost that game. And I said that in the vlog, and we won 3-1. We did so many blocks like in our area. Yeah, it could really have gone either way, that game.
And I'm not going to be a negative, because I'll as soon as we've stopped talking about Mansfield, I'll start to be optimistic again. But I think it's important to talk about, like, we look at our recent results, and I'm looking at the last time I think we played like really, really well. Salford away was fantastic performance for the full 90. Forest Green cruising, and then nearly don't take the win there. Colchester, poor. Swindon at home, good, but they had a lot of chances. Yeah. Like you just said, Barrow away, poor.
They definitely have quality though. So with Swindon, you can sort of get away with it a little bit more, because they do have that quality. But teams that we should be performing against, a couple there that you've mentioned, in my opinion, we should be looking at better performances against.
Yeah. My issue is that Luke Williams asked for a response after a few games this season, and he asked for a response after Barrow and got nothing. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Notts were shocking against Mansfield. Shocking. Like, I'd say it's the worst we played under Luke Williams, I might say. My Barrow was pretty bad the week before, but I don't want that to creep in. Yeah, a few people in the chat saying we were completely worked out. Like, I think Luke Williams tactically is really good, but I don't know. I don't know if the players just couldn't play that system. George, we're in the Trent Nav before the game, and we see the team is announced, and he's dropped Stone for Slocum. Hindsight's like a great thing, isn't it? But what do you think about that?
Well, if you go back to that vlog, I remember saying in that, will it affect the team? And I think it did a little bit, to be honest. I think Slocum has an error in him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I hate to say it because he's been great for Notts, but he does. Like, we've got to be honest, he does have that error in him, and I do think he gets put under a lot of pressure playing out from the back. But he does make a few silly mistakes that I don't think Stones makes. And look, he had a really good game against Derby, but I just think it was a little bit unnecessary to maybe start him, to be honest.
Yeah, I do. And like, we didn't lose because of him.
No, definitely not. Not. But it all starts on the back, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah, it does. Distribution wasn't very good, but
no, exactly.
Yeah. You can't really win as a goalkeeper. Like, if Stone stayed in, you're going to get less stick for the result. But at the same time, like, the goalkeeper's in the limelight, so it's just heightened. Do you know what I mean? You can't win. Stone could have had a poor game. People will say, well, Slocum played well against Derby. He should have come in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but works both ways, doesn't it?
Callum's right. Stone has a mistake in him. We've got two goalkeepers that have mistakes in them, and it's because we play out from the back. Like, people forgetting that a couple of weeks ago at Colchester, Stone passed the ball straight to their player for a goal. Like,
what an assist, though.
What an assist. I mean, they both have it in them, and it's because we play out from the back in League Two. Yeah, we're going to get James in them. Have your say in the poll. Can we sort this out without signings? Because we'll go on to this. We have made a very strange signing in the past hour that's not been announced by Notts, but has been announced by, I don't know who it is, some football academy. Looks like a defender.
FCV Academy.
FCV Academy. Don't know who that is. Who knows? I think they're like based in Leicestershire or something like that. So
FCV International Football Academy is dedicated to producing educated football players through courses and camps.
Well, I went on one of the teams he played for. I'm sure it said Leicester, but be interesting. And he's not going to fit straight in, is he? So there we go. Hi, James. How you doing?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
If anyone's got a question for James, put it in the chat, and we'll try and put a couple up on the screen. But we'll start by asking what we ask everyone, James. And your start to the season was very, very good, and then it went a little bit. Well, it kind of like everything happened at once, didn't it? What do you reckon to your start of the season?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. We beat a good Stockport County side on opening day. Who, to be fair, since then have flown and done very well. But it was a perfect away performance, and then I think we were the first side in EFL history to win our first 4 games 1-0. I think it was.
Yeah.
And a lot of pundits and whatever else said they'll get found out. They'll definitely get found out. Well, we all expected us to at some point lose games and not do very well and whatever else, because we're a League Two side for a reason. So it was never going to be rosy. But yeah, look, it's an interesting time at the football club. There's a lot of uncertainty. We've obviously not got a manager, which I think to a lot of fans looking from the outside in, probably, and including you guys, were probably amazed that we pulled the trigger on Neil Harris. And so are we. We still are. We can't. I think the majority of the fan base are shocked on what on what and why. We still have not been given a reason on why. It's just a different direction, apparently. But yeah, look, we're in the playoffs. So I suppose we're not doing too bad.
Yeah, this question's inevitable. I've had a couple, but and you kind of alluded to it there, but should he have been sacked, do you think? Like, how were those 1-0 wins? Like, were they comfortable, or like was it just?
We did. Look, we played very well at Stockport. It was a perfect away performance. We then beat. We then turned over a good Southampton side in the cup. I know we beat them 3-1, but we then went to Sutton, and that should have been 2 or 3 on the night. We then beat Crawley, who a lot of people have an attitude about Crawley that they have their ownership issues and whatever else, and they're just beatable. But they're a very good Crawley side under Scott Lindsay, and again a perfect away performance from us. And look, it doesn't matter how wins come. Wins are wins. Like you're not gonna remember a 1-0 win at Crawley or Sutton away on when it comes to May, if that's what promotes you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you play statistically. If you're good enough, it doesn't matter how you get it done. So in answer to Isaac's question, absolutely no way should he have been sacked. It was so harsh. Something must have happened behind the scenes. There must have been some sort of disagreement or a bust up. That can only be the answer. Because to sack a manager, 11 games it was into the season, we then won 48 hours later and we went to second. So it just looked bizarre and baffling. So yeah, I still think he shouldn't have been. No way.
Yeah. It was like I was really shocked when I went on social media and saw it. Yeah, like you say, that there has to be something else there, you'd think. Another question here. So, who was Gillingham manager Saturday after caretaker was sent off last weekend?
It's still going to be Keith Millen, just because we're appealing the ban. So I think because you appeal it, it doesn't then necessarily come into its action until they either reject the ban or accept the ban. So it still will be Keith Millen in the dugout on Saturday.
Yeah, fair enough. Good tackle, I reckon. I thought he got the ball, so fair enough for me.
Apparently he's got video evidence suggesting he didn't touch him. So
I don't know. I genuinely saw it and thought, like, I don't think he's tried to trip him up. Like, I actually don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's a fair one. Good tackle in my eyes. It'd be interesting to know from your point of view. We came up through the playoffs. They shouldn't have needed the playoffs. There were just 2 good teams in the National League that season, and it happened to go to penalties and like heart and mouth moment and all that. But we're a newly promoted side, and that you might, I don't know how often like you pass across with Notts fans on social media, but quite a lot of our fans are rightfully not happy with how we've been sort of defending. Do you think, from an outsider's point of view, we should just be happy with how we're doing or where we are?
100%. I mean, us as a fan base at Gills seriously contend that you are contenders in this league. Without a shadow of a doubt, you are strong. You've got one of the best strikers in this league in Macaulay Langstaff. He's an absolute weapon in your side. Yes, you've got defensive issues, but in my mind, what League Two team doesn't? They're League Two players for a reason. I know, obviously, you were saying, Thomas, that on the rate you're going to concede something like over 80 goals. But you've still got another window, as in January. So will Williams then look at potentially shoring that defensive side up? And if he makes 2 or 3 additions in January, you've got to be seriously contended for automatic promotion. I think you're actually a better side than Wrexham. I think a lot of fans will say Wrexham are this, and they throw the money at it and whatever else. But I've been seriously impressed with you guys. I think you're a better organised team. And I think if you ended up getting top 3 in May, there'd be absolutely no arguments from anyone. Certainly, I think you're definitely one of the best sides in this league without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, Ian says we like you, James. We like you. We do. What do you think, George? Like, you put it into perspective like that. Like, do you think we're just a signing away or a couple of signings?
But yeah, potentially, yeah. I do, to be honest. Yeah, I think we're 1 or 2 signings away from definitely being better. Like if you sign a better player and he's in form and he slots into the team, you're a better squad, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I don't know. You might. If you go into the game on Saturday, James, you'll see a couple of mistakes from our end. I think that's what frustrates us because we cut the mistakes out. We don't concede.
Yeah, exactly.
Fairly simple, but it is every week.
It is. It's the same with us. Like, I'm not being funny. If you look at us on paper, we've got Conor Mahoney, who's probably one of the best wingers in this league, one of the best wingers. We've then got Johnny Williams, who's a well-known name at this level. We've got George Lapsley, who's a good name at this level. We've got Macaulay Bonne, again a good name at this level. Ashley Naderson, Tom Nichols. You can keep going the amount of quality that we've got in that team, but we're just not clicking. We're creating the chances. We just can't stick the ball in the back of the net, and that has been our underlying issue for the start of the season. Is that we play lovely stuff at times. We get into really, really good areas, but we just can't stick the ball away. But it's not going to take a lot for the new manager to come in, to be honest with us. He just has to simply tinker things. It might be a case that we play a slightly different way, whether it's a high press or more possession-based stuff and whatever else. But he hasn't got to change a lot. We are contenders, but I'm looking forward to Saturday because it's 2 very, very good teams going at each other. I think it'll be an exciting watch, I think.
Yeah, it should be. We're going, aren't we, George? I've looked at the weather forecast. Doesn't look promising for that away end. I've never actually been. So
I hope there's a nice cover over the away end.
To be fair, we've actually started putting the majority of the fans into the side standings of the Gordon Road, which is undercover. So I think you get the option to choose to sit there or not. So,
yeah, I sort of tickets and I got the option and I thought, nah, we'll be all right. We'll go in the uncovered stand. So I shouldn't have just admitted that to George. But yeah, we're definitely not undercover. It looks like rain all day. So not great. Anyway, it's in a way end. I've never been to Gillingham, so looking forward to it. Couple of questions then before we let you go, James. Is there anyone in your side, you've mentioned Macaulay Bonne, Johnny Williams, that we might not know about that we should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, our holding midfielder, Ethan Coleman. He spent so he was at Leighton Orient under our director of football, Kenny Jackett. He's only 21, but I would probably say he's one of the best holding midfielders in at this level. Breaks up play really, really nicely. Forward thinking, looks forward all the time. Can play lovely passes. He's all over the pitch. Loves the yellow card, but he's tenacious. Great energy on him, and will end up going for a lot of money. I think he's a very, very, very good player.
Yeah, that's one to watch for you then. Yeah, because there are, like you said, some big names in your squad, especially for this level. Is there anyone who concerns you the most in the not squad? Because you spoke to Mansfield fan last week. He said he's not really fussed about Langstaff. He then left the call. We kind of said, yeah, all right then. And Langstaff touched the ball about 10 times, so he was right to. But is there anyone that really concerns you?
Yeah, I don't know how you can't be. I mean, the partnership between him and McGoldrick is something to be seriously worried about. I don't know how you can not be worried about a striker that has scored 40 goals last year. Just because it's at national level, you can't. Because he is one of those strikers that, for me, if you switch off and you leave him alone, he will punish you, and that is the problem. But so you have to watch your front 2 pairing. Without a shadow of a doubt. I love you wide as well. I think you're brilliant out wide. I think the ability that you have to get the ball in the box is brilliant. So I love your 2 wingers as well. I think you're a real danger going forward. I think that is it's going to be an interesting matchup because defensively we're very good, but attacking wise you're very good.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting one. But
Sounds like Mansfield all over again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
we were saying the same thing going into the Mansfield game, but
yeah. But I think for me, I don't think you can look away from Leng stuff. I know you probably for you guys there's so many more that you can probably shine a light on. But when you look at a forward that has scored 40 goals from you last year and scoring goals this year as well, I don't think you can sway away from that really, can you? But I think McGoldrick brings a lot more to your side than people probably recognise him for.
Yeah.
He's an excellent footballer, and he hasn't played at that level for no reason, has he?
Yeah.
So I think that front two pair scare me.
Yeah, I think for me, the player to watch out for that might get overshadowed would be Jody Jones. Was at Coventry, but he was injured in the game against Barrow. Didn't go on duty for Moulton. We all thought he was going to appear on Saturday against Mansfield. He didn't, so he'd be my pick. But yeah, will be interesting. Right, before we let you go, James, thanks. Really appreciate you coming on. What's your score prediction?
I'm gonna go 2-2. I'm gonna go 2-2. I think it's two good sides going at each other. And when that happens, sometimes it sways away of it all goes out the window and no one cares about defending today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'm going to go 2-2.
I think you're right to say both teams will score. I think that's something that's going to happen. James, really, really appreciate you coming on, spend your Thursday night with us, and yeah, enjoy the game on Saturday. See if you can spot us getting soaked in that way. And
you two guys, and all the best for the season.
Cheers. Bye.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Right then, George, I'm going to start being positive now. James
I'll tell you
what,
you've done his homework on knots, hasn't he?
Yeah, we've had some great guests this year. Yeah, James definitely 100% knows his stuff, and a lot of people in the chat agreeing with what you're saying, George. So I'm going to be positive. Like James said, all it takes is a little bit of tweaking in January, which takes me back to our question. If you haven't voted on the poll yet, do we need signings to be able to improve defensively? We're going to come on to that a bit later.
The poll isn't on my phone, by the way. I don't know if it's...
Well, it should be up there. No one's mentioned it.
It was when I first came in. It's not there now.
Oof, have you broken it?
Might broke it.
I'm going to have it's there.
Let's have a quick look.
Let's hit 87 votes. Come on, George.
Yeah, it's just popped up. You've just done something.
No, I haven't. Don't make allegations.
I don't believe you that.
Right, George, quickly talk over this 5,000th league game.
Yeah.
And you're going to be there. You were at the 4,000th, weren't you?
Probably.
Yeah, that's amazing, that is. That's really good.
Thanks,
yeah, free coach travel from Notts put on. Didn't have to do that. Coaches aren't cheap. You know, that's just how we get there.
Coaches aren't cheap.
Coaches aren't cheap. They're not. But no, I think it's a nice gesture from Notts. And to get a win would be brilliant, wouldn't it? To go and get that victory. How do you see Saturday going? Do you think both teams will score? Like, I didn't realise this until someone popped in the chat. They're the lowest scorers in the whole league.
Yeah.
They've only scored 12 goals in 13 games. Well, we look at Notts, and also I didn't realise Macca had 8. I thought he had 6. Macca's doing really, really well, isn't he, actually? Notts have got 28. So we're like nearly 2.5 times their goals scored. I know we've conceded only 11 more than them, but what do you reckon?
It's really, really hard to say at the minute, isn't it? I think we've had a right mixed bag, haven't we, so far this season?
Yeah, I'm used to. Go on.
Look, if you look back at some of the results, like we've had a 0-0, we've lost 5-1, we've lost 4-1, we've won 3-1, we've won 3-1. Like
lost 5-4.
Yeah, crazy. Like you don't know which way it's going to go. Like, it's very entertaining. I'll give it that, but it's very hard to call.
Yeah, my heart nearly stopped at Colchester. I couldn't take it anymore. Like 5-4, it was end-to-end stuff.
You went with Jordan, yeah?
It
was Jake.
I went with Jake. Jake, yeah.
You told me you were crying at half time.
Do you want to know why that is? It's because I knew he was driving back. He was driving back.
Oh.
And I just feared, Went to a Wendy's outside the ground, though.
Yeah.
Wendy's in the UK.
How is
right. She's fine. Yeah, she's absolutely great.
she?
That's a good one from you, actually. That's a really good one from you. George, Ian says, spot on, entertaining, but tough to predict.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to sum it up, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I went around the bush a little bit, but Ian's made it concise.
Yeah.
That's it.
We've got another comment here. If we had a full squad, I think we'd win comfortably. If we're still missing Bostock and Jody, then who knows? Bostock going off killed it.
Yeah, it did. It definitely did. That's the concern, though, isn't it? Because I think we massively miss Jody. Jody's unreal.
He is unreal.
He scored some really nice goals this season from not a lot, and he's created quite a lot. Some nice assists as well. So I think we definitely miss his creativity. And Bostock, he's sort of our general, isn't he, in the midfield?
Yeah, he is. Be interesting if he's not there on Saturday. Who do you start in there? I drop Austin into central midfield with Palmer. I know I'm jumping ahead of it with the team news, but I don't think I'd put Jim in there. Say again.
So I don't call it exciting. I call it heart attack fodder, says Dave.
Heart attack fodder.
It's not. It's a good way to put it. That heart attack.
It is. I think there will be goals Saturday, and I think they'll wake up a little bit in terms of goal scoring. I think they'll start. I think I still feel like Notts are a side where people up their game a little bit, you know, like not in a cocky way. I just think it happens. I really do think it happens. If Jordan is watching this video, can he stop messaging me asking about if I'm going to get a taxi to the station on Saturday before the game? Because I'm live.
Is he messaging you?
Inconsiderate, isn't it? It really is.
His message.
Yeah, it's just silly. So if anyone sees Jordan at the game on Saturday, just let him know we should have been watching this. He's a lovely guy, but yeah, he's just not quite with it on this occasion.
Different time zone, mate.
Different time zone. He's been in a different time zone the last 10 years.
Yeah. He's always about half an hour behind everyone else.
Yeah, that's it.
You say you pick him up at 7:30, he comes out at 8:00.
Yeah, he does. Ian, Tommy getting a taxi. How do I block Ian from this? Get rid of him. No. Newport then on Tuesday. That kind of passed me by because of the bigger games we've had built around this. I think Newport's a really good opportunity because you're not guaranteed to get a win on Saturday, are we? I think Newport, without wanting to be too confident about it, because they've scored 21 goals this season. I think that's a good opportunity before Wrexham to get another result in 2 home games in a week. I think that's the one I look at on the fixture list in the past few days, and I think the past few weeks, and I think, I've got to win that. We have to win that game. Newport are a funny team. 21 scored, 26 conceded, but they're 20th in the league. Like, they do have goals in them.
That is funny.
But they lose some very strange games. So they beat Colchester, who beat us, and then they lost at home to Harrogate. They've won one of their last. Oh dear. I think they've won one of the last 8. And that was against the 10-man Colchester side. And they lost to Swindon 2-0, who, that's going to happen, isn't it? Drew with Barrow, though. Start the season off well, beating Doncaster, Forest Green and Sutton. Is it too... Do you struggle to talk about the Tuesday or to think about the Tuesday games before the Saturday game? I think it... Go on.
A little bit, I suppose.
I think it rides so much on what happens Saturday, what happens Tuesday.
Yeah. We're carrying some injuries at the minute, aren't we? And there's nothing. In Luke's presser today, there was nothing confirmed about length of injury for Bostock or Jones, which I find concerning.
Was there no question even asked?
I don't believe there was, no.
From my angle, I couldn't see if Bostock went down unchallenged or was he caught. Because if it's unchallenged, then it's a bit of a problem. He looked to me like he was coming back on the pitch as well. So, I don't know. Who's the bigger miss out of those two? That's a tricky question.
Between
Jody and who if you in a hypothetical situation, if you could only have one fit for Saturday, who do you have?
What, between Jody and John?
Jody and John. Like you know him.
Probably John.
John over Jody.
John over Jody for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it brings me back to thinking about the squad depth, because we've got one midfielder out and one wing back out, and I already feel like it's a, and they're not just like, no player is really a squad player, but
Jim O'Brien.
11. Jim O'Brien in the middle. Who said that? Not for me. Not for me. I wouldn't have Jim in there. Yeah, look, squad depth worries me, and most have a lot of injury at the minute. There is a problem with squad depth. I think we've made a signing. Do you envisage the player we've signed? I honestly can't remember who it is to even. I don't know. Do you see him having a massive
Heaney Burgess
impact? I don't see him playing. We can't even get Tipton and Macari into the squad.
Who knows? Who knows? It's a strange one, isn't it? It's not an official announcement from our club, is it?
No, I think it's straight into the.
Straight into the academy. I'd assume.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? Who knows? It's a strange one. It's a strange one because normally when something like that happens, if it was going to be a first team player, the club who's bought the player or who's offered the player a contract release the news before the old employer releases the news. So that leads me to think that it's probably not going to be first team, but willing to be wrong.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, won't it? I still don't think the situation's finished with the guy from Drogheda in Ireland. I think that there might be some more to come from that.
My partner told us that we're pronouncing that completely wrong. It's pronounced Drada.
Drada?
Drada.
There's a G and a H in it.
I know. Have you ever seen how Dunleary's spelled?
No.
Yeah, we'll have a look because it's got a few G's and H's in there.
Drada.
Drada, yeah.
Your partner's Irish, isn't she?
She is, yeah.
So, I mean, she's the expert.
She's the expert, yeah.
We've been pronouncing Dublin wrong as well.
Okay.
Ask her about that. Poor.
Not
sure, trust me. Right. He joined in the 21s, Chris says. Yeah, he signed for our academy youth team, so no chance of playing first team. James says, not seemed to keep injury in for very quiet. Allegedly, Chicks is injured, but can't recall any official news. No. I know it's handy for fans, but it's not necessarily handy for... it's handy for the team, and not necessarily handy for fans to not know that, is it? Right, George, let's go for our team. We obviously can't choose a team for Newport, really. Like, we can say if we put a few changes in, but what do you reckon?
Stones in goal.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Cameron's back. That was a bit of a shock to the system, wasn't it?
He didn't say why, did he?
No, he just said illness. But then, I mean, strange one. I'm sure he was at the Panthers on the Saturday night. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, it was.
Back three. I would like to say Cameron on the left, Baldwin, Brindley. Brindley, Baldwin. Brindley in the middle, Baldwin on the right.
Okay, I'm going Stone in goal. I find it really difficult. Cameron on the left.
If you're going to copy me, I'm going to be well disappointed that you're taking this.
I don't know. I want to see someone like Macari come in or Tipton, but I don't think they'll come in till a home game. Yeah, I think go Brindley and Brindley on the right, Cameron on the left, middle Baldwin. I've got to say I want to see Jody on the left. Mm-hmm. Who on the right?
I think Aaron the man.
Do you? Okay. Yeah. Midfield 2 for me is Palmer, obviously, and Jim, unless there's an injury issue there, which would be Austin in the middle for me.
What about Randall? That's a great point from Charlie.
Yeah, where is Randall?
He was supposed to be on rail, wasn't he?
He came back from injury against, was it Wolves under 21? He's gone missing again. Someone please find him. I want to see what he's got. I want to see if he's got the ability to play on that left-hand side.
See if he's got the key. See if he's got the secret.
Who did he come from? Sutton.
Sutton, yeah.
Sutton fans liked him. I've seen that goal where he takes on about 6 players.
Yeah, Ronaldinho, right?
Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho, yeah.
And then Crowley, Langstaff, and Didsey.
Yeah.
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 Is Cameron still on a ban if he gets a yellow card? Yes, for the next 6 games. So we could lose him. We could lose. There's a couple of other players we could lose as well.
Fraser's made a good point.
What's that point?
Biscuits.
What about biscuits?
I don't know. He's just put biscuits.
Who knows? Made of biscuits, I think. Random wish preseason, so lots of fitness making up to do. Yeah, but he's not even on the bench against Derby, was he? Disappointing. Right, George, go to the poll then. What's happened?
Let's go to the poll. This surprised me a little bit, actually. Can our defensive issues be sorted out without making signings? That hasn't surprised me.
What do you... Go on.
What, can they be sorted out without making signings?
Yeah.
At this moment in time, I'm going to say no, they can't.
Hang on.
There we go.
Hang on.
No, mate, I'll hold my hands up and say that I said the opposing a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you did. You know what? Because you've said that, I'm not going to call you out on it.
No, I hold my hands up when I say something. I hold myself accountable.
Yeah.
It's surprising though. I'll be honest with you. I know we've looked. Obviously, start of the season we can see 5 goals in the first game, but even then, you're just thinking, it's just one of those games, isn't it? It's a bit of a shock. Everyone's just probably got a bit too elated that they're back in the Football League and too many mistakes were made. But
yeah,
we've conceded too many. Williams has sort of said, look, everyone's had their chance to build in. No one's really gave me lots of confidence this season, defensive wise. I think Cameron's been really good. When he wasn't in the squad, we missed him because he has those driving runs, didn't he? I think Rawlinson did do that really well against Mansfield, to be fair, in replacing those runs. But in terms of a solid defender, that I feel like we're lacking it. We're lacking it, Tom.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think at this moment in time, and I'm happy to be proved wrong, and if Notts go clean sheet against Gillingham and clean sheet against Newport, that's the only way I might think, but I can't see it. I can't see it. That we've improved the squad attacking wise so well. It's so much more ability in that squad. Like we've replaced Ruben and we've got Dan Crowley and we've got Didsey as like an upgrade on that. We've got Jody on a permanent. Attacking wise, we improved so much. Defensively, we improved nothing at all. We just stayed with it. And I think we need maybe January to go with that. I'm happy to be proved wrong and we get 2 clean sheets in the next 2 games, but purely off what I've seen, I'm not a football expert. I'm not a manager or a coach or anything, but purely just based on what I see from the stands, I just think we're too easy to get at. Whether that's tactics, I don't know, but we'll see.
I don't think we're too easy to get at. I think we're just clumsy. Like we'll pass it to you. You come, take that, mate. There's a nice goal for you. Do you know what I mean? How many times have we done that this season?
It's exactly what we're like. It is exactly what we're like. It's poor.
It's so simple though. That's what's made me feel like that we can correct these problems. And I'm still not 100% there with saying that we need to sign players because I believe that defense can improve.
Yeah.
Well, I just think that, like, going back to the confidence thing, every time we concede that many goals, it's just going down, and the belief starts disappearing.
Yeah.
So it's on a fine line for me.
Yeah, fine wine line.
Line.
James has summed up what I wanted to say perfectly. He said, we have one of the best players in the league in every position at the top of the park. I don't think I have anyone near that level at the back in back line, in my opinion, imbalanced. I completely agree with that. It's not a balanced side at the minute, in my opinion. And yeah, Paul says Wrexham must be relishing playing us this season. I got home from the Mansfield game, put on Sky Sports, on what's going to happen. Wrexham are going to score 2 against Salford. And I looked at it and I'm thinking, I thought it's not a great sign. I'm frightened to death for playing Stephen Fletcher. I'm frightened of playing Stephen Fletcher. Like, that shouldn't be like that. Like, the guy's a good player, but...
Yeah. The thing that concerns me as well, like, we can read into Saturday's result as much as we'd like. There was a lot of issues that we had there. We lost our captain in Kyle Cameron. Bostock goes off injured. Jody Jones isn't there because he's injured. Stones has dropped out. There's a lot of change, and I think that really doesn't help in such a massive game.
You're right.
It's nearly 17,000 there.
Yeah.
I think Wrexham, if we've got like our preferred 11, more or less, a sort of Jones back, Bostock, Stones, Cameron, all in the lineup with the others that we've discussed prior.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a better game and it's just confidence.
And we'll outsing their 150 fans.
Yeah,
100%.
exactly.
Like the AI, the crowd noise gets added on in production. Like it's not going to be there on the day. Like they're like quiet as a mouse when they've been before.
Yeah. I wonder is Reece Reynolds going to be there?
Reece Reynolds.
What's the other one called?
Bob McElhenney, I think.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. They might bring that Will Farrell in.
Bob McElhenney.
Bob McElhenney and Reece Reynolds.
That's so childish, but that's just got me that one.
Yeah, you got to have a laugh, haven't you? Because if you don't, I sat back in here thinking of more names when Stephen Fletcher scored 2 or 3. Score predictions then, George. 2 games. I'm going to go straight in with it. Okay. Yeah. Notts 2, Gillingham 2, Notts 5, Newport 1.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to ask for goal scorers on because it'll take all night. I'm going to go
goal scorers.
No, I'm going to go 2-1 Gillingham. 2-1 Notts against Gillingham. I think we'll beat Gillingham 2-1. I think it'll be a really tough game. And then I'm going to say 2-1 as well on Tuesday night.
I think it'll be a fine wine line, I think.
Fine wine line. It definitely will be. And Majordrick will play really well.
You're going 2-1 in both?
2-1 in both.
Right, get yours in the chat. Get yours in the chat. What do you think? Be interesting one. Let's see. Big response here from Milkman Hero. 4-1, big response. We've got a 2-0 and a 4-0 Tuesday. That would shut me right up, Charlie, about the defence. We've got 1-1, Gillian Crowley score, and then 2-0, McGoldrick at the double. We've got a 3-1 against Newport, Crowley did see. Jody, we've got a 1-1 and a 4-0. We've got a 2-1 and a 3-0. We've got a Stags fan I think might be lost. We've got a 3-1 Notts, Chicks and hat-trick. Someone needs to tell that Stags fan that the game got abandoned in the 92nd minute.
He's lost.
It's being replayed. Here we go. Imagine this. What odds would you get on this? A 3-1 Chicks and hat-trick and then a 6-0 Chicks and hat-trick, Langstaff hat-trick on Tuesday. That's all I'm going to pop in the chat. Plenty of score predictions. We're still pretty confident. We are still pretty confident. I can see a few more coming to the chat. You can have a look at those. But as always, thank you for joining us on this Thursday. It's a long trip to Gillingham. George has booked tickets in the stand that doesn't have a roof, unfortunately for him. I need to get back to Jordan, see if I'm getting a taxi or not. Please do subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. We'll have content from we'll post Gillingham on Saturday. And comment anything else you can think of. And please do like the video. And as always, thank you to our channel members who help us out absolutely massively.